What is precedent in law and how does it cause gaffes? Imagine a law that everyone follows because a judge once said so, even if it sounds bizarre today. That's the power of precedent in law. It's a previous court decision that guides future rulings. When a judge interprets a law for the first time, that decision becomes a standard. Lower courts must follow it if it's binding, or consider it if it's persuasive. This system helps keep the law consistent and predictable. But sometimes, it leads to funny or confusing mistakes. When courts relying too heavily on old or strange precedents, they might enforce outdated laws. For example, a judge might interpret a law literally, even if it's clearly absurd now. This can result in fines for harmless actions or enforcement of laws that don't make sense anymore. Precedent can cause gaffes when courts don't notice that the facts of a new case are different from the old one. Lawyers can exploit this by finding precedents that technically apply but lead to strange results. For instance, a law about a specific activity might be used to punish something entirely different, just because the wording matches. This is where loophole exploitation comes into play. People find ways to stretch the law in ways the original lawmakers never imagined. Sometimes, judges stick to a precedent without considering societal changes, leading to enforcement gaffes. Imagine a law from decades ago about a now obsolete technology being used to punish someone today. That's a classic example of how rigidly following precedent can backfire. In some cases, courts interpret laws in ways that seem humorous or bizarre. They might uphold a law that sounds silly, simply because a previous ruling said so. This is part of the humor in legal interpretation and enforcement gaffes. It shows how the process of law, while designed for fairness, can sometimes produce strange or amusing outcomes. The key is that precedent is meant to provide stability, but when misapplied or exploited, it can turn into a source of confusion and comedy. So, next time you hear about a weird law being enforced, remember that precedent might be the culprit, guiding courts in ways that seem funny or even ridiculous today.